There's one thing you said earlier about people who work for you. You talked about cutting costs, and then you also talked about keeping. When the virus began, you talked about keeping employees, like most of the big banks did, or a lot of them. Has your thinking changed on that at all? Does it mean that sort of if there were to be any job cuts, you would keep those off for another year, or what? How should your employees think about that?
Well, we were very clear, as the crisis started, that at the height of the crisis, we were focused on our employees and we would not be making any layoffs. But we're running a business as we go forward, and part of our business, and we haven't done it this year because it hasn't been appropriate at the time we would normally do it, which would be the end of the first quarter. But we hire between 2,000 and 3,000 people out of school every year, and we also have a process where we always look at kind of the bottom 5% and manage out people so we can bring new, younger talent in. That's part of the way our business model works. And so as we go forward in 2021, 2022, we'll continue with that business model. We have some longer term or medium term goals that we laid out in our investor day where we think there are opportunities to run the firm more efficiently, and we're still committed to those. But obviously, the crisis changes the timeline a little bit on some of that. But right now, we're focused on operating the firm. As we go forward, though, we'll do what's right for our shareholders, and we'll do what's right to make sure that we're operating our firm as efficiently and as appropriately to serve our clients as we can.
So those issues would become closer once people are back in the office.
Yeah, I think there's a period of crisis and then there's a period of normalization, and I do think one of the things that's going to be a drag on the economy broadly, and it's one of the reasons why I think, John, there's going to be a headwind. I think all businesses are learning and seeing ways where there are efficiencies, and I think that's going to have a toll and an adjustment on workforces, more broadly as we get into 2021. And that's not something that's specific to financial services. I think it's across industry broadly. And so I do think this is something that as an economy we'll have to manage as we go forward.